everyone, this is Kosher Bacon, and welcome back to Grand Theft Auto 5. This video is going to be a bit different.
What do you think Mr. Rubio is doing right now?
Pavel, can you be quiet?
If you listen very carefully on
Alright,
phone
so
now,
this video, I'm going to be taking you guys through how to do the Cayo Perico Heist start to finish. It is one of... Pavel, seriously, can you be quiet? Dude. So the Cayo Perico Heist is one of the best ways to grind money, especially if you are solo. If you have friends, you might be able to get more with the Diamond Casino Heist, but this heist can be done in about an hour start to finish. To start our with, you have to gather intel. If this is your first time through, you know you've got to buy the submarine, go through the intro cutscene, there's a whole bunch of stuff there. I'm assuming you've already done that. This is just some tips and tricks on how to quickly grind this thing out in an hour or so. If you can, buy the Sparrow and the missile upgrades for it. That will take you another 2.5 or so million. So it's an expensive thing, but once you have the money for it and you do this, you'll be able to earn it all back pretty quickly. Alright, so first things first, we have this mission. This mission is fun, by which I mean boring. Just fly over, get the plane, fly over to Cayo Perico. Give me a second, because I think I'm going to be fighting with Pavel over here, so I'm going to lower the audio. So I will fly over to the plane now, and I'll see you guys there. Alright, so I have just made it over to where the plane will be here. Because of Rockstar wanting us to have lovely weather during the holiday season, this is a bit harder to see, but when you do it normally, it should be a bit easier to do this part. There are 5 targets here, one will be at the plane, one will be at the car, 3 of them just kind of bunched up over there. You can kind of see them all there. So, yeah, headshot, 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 2 more left at this point. It's a pretty straightforward section, this part here. Come on, there they are. That's one. Alright, and hostiles are down. Pavel's gonna be talking in my ear for a second here. That is a very weird way to get into that plane. One note, you cannot close that door, no matter how hard you try, so don't bother. Take off.
After what happened to Mr. Rubio, if the guard finds you have come armed, this will end very quickly.
And we get to see the lovely fogged out section of Los Santos. I'm just going to take her up above the mountains and we'll be fine. While you ride, before I cut the recording, I'm going to quickly explain some things. So if this is your first time doing the heist, obviously first you have to go to the music locker and talk to Mini Madrazo and get the quest from him. Then you can buy the submarine. Getting the money for the sub is pretty hard. CEO crates are a way to do it. That's relatively easy to get. If you're having trouble getting the money to get that, you might need to do VIP missions. There's a whole mega guide out there on the internet. I might make a video about that at some point. But in this case, I'm just specifically breaking down the Cayo Perico heist and not much else. So, your first time through, you don't have to go get this tiny plane and fly it all the way to the other end of the map, because Rockstar needed us to have a cooldown timer on making so much money, is my guess. That just makes you go to the airport and that's it. There's a fun cutscene with a couple fun guest appearances, and from there it's pretty straightforward flying. At the end of the day, it's very similar to the 2 approaches, but I do want to address that this part will be different. Likewise, if you complete the heist and you start it again as soon as possible after Pavel lets you know, you started on hard mode. Hard mode is harder, typically. It's kind of obvious, but specifically you get 1 less life, team life, but if you do the heist correctly, you won't die at all, so you won't need to worry about that. I don't know if there's extra guards or if their aggression or detection ranges are increased, but again, if you do it properly, it won't make a difference. So, what you need to do is do some scoping out on the island that we're going to talk about. Hard mode also increases the take you get by 10%, so it's well worth it if you're solo grinding and good at it to do it on hard mode, but you can also just do it on easy mode and get the lower take if you're not so comfortable with that. Anything else of note? I believe that does cover it, so I will see you all on Cayo Perico, where hopefully it's a little more visible than this. See you there. Alright, here we are. Welcome to paradise. Okay, Pavel, be quiet. Sorry, guys. So once you've already done the mandatory stuff here, scoped out all the points of interest, it's just a matter of getting to the cell tower and looking for a couple secondary targets. But I'm going to assume that this is your first time through, more or less, and you have no clue what you're doing. So let's take a look at the map. this is Cayo Perico. My standard strategy is to use the submarine as an infiltration point via a drainage tunnel located roughly over here. Like right about there is where it is. I'll show that to you guys on the map, like in person as well, but I just want to point out at the map. From there, I get the primary target from the compound. If there's paintings, I might grab paintings and then just swim outside of map range. During the heist itself, you'll be able to escape just by going outside of the bounds of the map. Otherwise, I'll look for stuff over here at this dock here and grab it. There are 3 places that things here spawn, so we're going to go ahead and look at them now and see what we get. In terms of secondary takes, gold is best, but that needs 2 people. It will always be double locked. After that comes cocaine. Cocaine's pretty good. Weed might actually be number 3 on the list. At this point, I've heard a lot of different rumors about what is and isn't very good. I think cocaine is solidly second best, though. Cash is possibly the worst. There's also paintings. Paintings are good because you can cut them quickly. There's an elite challenge for beating the heist in just 15 minutes, so that's an extra $100,000 if you know how to do it. That stuff we scoped out can be gotten during the heist, and I guess I will show that off if there's no, like, 2 stacks of cocaine over here. So let me go quickly check over this way before I move on to the next part of this, which is going to be getting from the airstrip to the cell tower that we need to get to. Or the communications tower, I guess is what they call it. And just cash. Okay, I'm not even going to bother scoping it out. So normally, I don't care too much about my secondary targets. I'll get the best that I can find. In this case, it's going to be those 2 weeds and maybe a cash, because I think the weeds do 33% of a bag, not 50. So 2 weeds and 1 cash should fill me up properly. So I'm going to grab this motorcycle here, and yeah, move on. It's possible my method isn't perfect, but it is one that I've used a lot to pretty good success. I normally just fill myself up to about 10 mil, then go buy myself something fun, and then go grind it again. So, yeah. Because the heist can be done solo, it's pretty good. If you're doing the story the first time through, it actually spawns you over by the music. Oop. Yeah, watch out for the trees, guys. Trees are very mean in this game. Alright, let's get back on that bike. So it will spawn you over by the music thingy without this bike, which is annoying, but it's still possible to work with that. But I like to use this bike because it's possible to take it and go right past the very annoying security checkpoint we're about to come up on, assuming this bit of roadblock over here doesn't stop me forever. There it is. Normally I'm much faster here, but because I'm playing and talking, that slowed me down a bit. For the most part, I try and avoid the road because, you know, cars will travel by, guards, cameras. So this here is the choke point that separates the top and bottom halves of the island. It's possible to use the bike to pass through here, and I'm going to do that, but first I want to show you all how you would do it if you were going from over there, which is where the party is, to over here. So there's a guard in the tower there, and a camera. The guard in the tower has an increased field of view, so you have to watch out for him. There's also a guard down over there. So just really quickly, you know, you enter sneak mode, and sprint will give you the faster sneak. And we're just waiting for the guards to kind of rotate here, because if we try and move out now, they're going to spot us and send us back to jail. Or in this case, back to the airfield. Come on. There we go. So now that no one's looking directly at us, we can just pass through this gate over here. And that is your way in through the choke point before you get to the airstrip with the bike. You could also just head south from the party and get the bike that way. And then you will do it this way, which is much faster than trying to sneak through and wait for guards and stuff. So give me a second. I left the bike over here. So you've got your bike. And you'll head up down over here. Again, you want to watch the field of view on the guards, but this guy up top, if you're too close to him, he actually doesn't see you. He has a blind spot. And then from there, you can just take the bike and scale the cliff that way. Pretty straightforward. Again, watch for guards. The vehicles that rove around on the streets are very annoying if you don't keep an eye out for them, so keep an eye on your mini-map pretty frequently. I like to check every few seconds. But from here on out, it's pretty smooth sailing as long as you don't have any vehicles, which we don't, because normally there are vehicles along this path, but because I took so long explaining it to you guys, yep, see, there's one. But because I took so long, they weren't patrolling at that time. Alright, over to the cell tower. Alright. Upstairs, downstairs. You will need to look around. So the signal box could be here, or over there. If it's not in those 2 places, you gotta go up. So, let's start climbing. If we're very unlucky, it's all the way at the top, in which case, you know, just climb all the way up the top, but I'm hoping we're going to be lucky here and we'll be at, like, the second or third floor of this structure. I hope you all aren't afraid of heights, because, yeah, we're going to get real high here. Let me up. Alright, so we're going to quickly just scope out a couple points of interest, then I'm going to go head over to a section that you all will need to scope out for Pavel to give you access to a way to make this fast. So first, this is the signal box. You need to hack it. Takes a second to boot up. Okay, this is a math puzzle. Nice, it actually shows us the 3 symbols here. So it takes your start number and does something to it. In this case, that took 7 and multiplied it by 10. If you look in the upper part with the red numbers, that's our target, and the bottom is our current result. So in this case, we can tell that it has to be 1 multiplied by 10, because 3 multiplied by 10, 7 multiplied by 10 is too much. Likewise, we're looking for 27. This would give us 24. This would give us 27. Pretty straightforward. You just play around with it for a bit, and you'll be fine.
I am in. The app is on your phone. Let us do some window shopping, yes?
So on the off chance it's not there, it's going to be up there, and I just realized I'm actually going to want to be up here because I need to do some parachuting. You are welcome to, of course, scope out as many points of interest as you want. There's tons of secondary targets in the more populated areas. Feel free to explore. I'm not going to go through every single one because they change around a lot. But the way I do it should be the most effective for a single player. Again, it should be possible within an hour, although this video is going to be a bit longer. Right. Tabbing over to the right here through the cameras. Basement. Alright, what do we got? Diamond, diamond, diamond. Vodka. Alright.
Mr. Rubio, what a fine antique bottle of diamond-encrusted tequila you have. A drink like this deserves to be appreciated, not locked away. We must liberate.
So, like, there's gold there, but we can't get it, even though it's good value.
I will mark its location here.
So I do like to tab over to the office, because I like to check and see if there's paintings. In this case, no.
I will do some research.
Let's check in the other case. Yes.
Fine art. Excellent for
Might be worth getting.
I will mark location.
I'll have to consider that, because I will have to go through extra hacks to get up to him, but it also might be worth it that way. Regardless, at this point, we're going to go do some parachuting.
There's only so much you can carry. You want more? Bring friends.
So this heist kind of lies to you in a couple ways. They talk about how it can be done solo, but the fact is several things are not going to be soloable just because, well, you can't. It's not possible to get everything solo. So, parachuting here is not the advised way of doing it, but I'm going to do it this way anyways. So roughly around this section of the water, again, I'll show it to you guys on the map, over here. We're going to dive down nearby where this helpful little dinghy was left for us, and we're going to look for an entry point. I actually just spotted it right now. So this thing over here, as you swim close to it, you don't need to take a picture of it. Pavel will tell you, oh hey, you found an entry point, and mark it for you. And that's it, you never need to scope it out again, and I'm going to drown, because I can't turn myself around here. So normally, because I wanted to show you guys that, I went over here, even though normally I wouldn't. Normally, after I did that hack, which I would immediately go to, I would then just jump off the tower and die, or go walk in front of a guard's field of view and get teleported back to the airstrip. In this case, I'm going to go grab this dinghy that they left us over here, and go head to the airstrip or to a guard's point of view, so we can get back to Los Santos and get the prep work out of the way. I'll see you guys there. Be right back. Alright, and we have liftoff. Let's head back over to Los Santos and go do the prep work missions. See you guys there. Okay, good. Pavel's gone, so I can actually talk without him talking over me. So we make it back to the sub, and here's the planning screen. We need to do 5 sets, or 5 prep work missions. I don't bother with the disruptions, or much in terms of anything else. First and foremost, we're going to use the submarine as our entry point. Merryweather test site. Let's go. The trick with this thing, when you're on a mission with the sub, you can actually use the sub's fast travel ability, and it's 5 times cheaper for only 2,000 bucks. So let's go ahead and take a look at where we are in the world. Okay, that is all the way up over there. So let's go ahead and use the fast travel option and get as close to our objective as we would like. Polito Forest, North Chumash. Alright, let's go. on fast travel. Again, because of the weather, it's going to be hard to see things, which I wish would at least work in our advantage here, but actually it's going to disadvantage us pretty badly. A lot of people have trouble with this setup here, and for good reason, but it is possible to do it pretty easily. First things first, let's head over to the moon pool. We're going to go get ourselves some scuba gear. Alright, we have our scuba gear. So, now, we're going to head up to the roof-ish of the sub. And let's go call in a dinghy via this thing. Alright, dinghy spawned over there. So this gives us the ability to breathe underwater indefinitely. My bad, I thought this was a lot closer to the test site. Did they move it? I guess that's close enough. So, those of us that are familiar with the Diamond Casino Heist will remember when you do the Loud and Dumb and you need to source the vault explosives, you always ended up having to dive down to the ocean floor and retrieve 2 items, and attack helicopters spawned and they were annoying. This mission can be similar to that, but it's also possible to cheese it in a couple ways to make it easier for yourself. For one, I could totally just enter the submarine right now and just stay under the water and swim back to mine. But that would take a while, so I'm just going to blow that thing out of the sky and use the dinghy to get close. Obviously, if you don't have the thermal scope sniper, this part's a bit harder, but you could snipe them out with a regular rifle if you really wanted to. It'll just be, like I said, a bit harder. If I'm clever, I should actually save one of their dinghies for myself instead of having to run back and get my dinghy. Did they not die? Oh. Ooh, they're actually doing some damage there. Alright, let's just make sure they stay dead. And let's go get ourselves a sniper. You could use the helicopter with the missiles and just blow them up one after the other, but this way we leave ourselves a couple of boats if we need them. Right. And that's all the guys in their boats, and that's the one helicopter. Alright. And let's go head on over to where the sub should be. Kinda easy to see the yellowed circle in the water. And because I put on the scuba gear, I could really just avoid what comes after this when we get out of the sub. Just by, you know, staying in the water where they can't shoot me. That is one option for it, but I normally just take a dinghy and ride it back to my sub, or ride it back to land and summon in the Sparrow, then take that back to my sub. Alright, so we've entered the submarine. This part here is, understandably, very BS. I like to go first person, pull out the assault shotgun, and just clear the rooms like this. Once you learn the spawn locations of these guys, as well as the device you're looking for, it gets a bit easier, but it's still pretty ridiculous for the most part. You can use the sprinting, aiming down sight function here to have a pretty good, like, aiming toggle, while also, you know, moving quickly enough to actually be reasonable. Alright, I'm lucky the device is over here, but it can be in other parts of the sub as well. At this point, we don't need first person anymore, and good. Third person, they shoot you around corners here, it's not fun. So there's going to be a 3 sets of 2 buzzards with their, you know, gunners and everything, and that's going to be annoying to deal with. But hey, look at me, I was smart and left a couple boats so I could just get back to my sub quickly. Gotta go throw that guy out. Rip.
Watch out for the helicopter. Just get the deflector back to our sub.
And tight turn. Okay, let's hope that sandbar doesn't stop us. And away we go. Nice. I do believe we don't have to worry about the choppers, really. They're going to stay on us pretty well, but they can't really hit us when we're moving at this speed. They need us to be stationary to actually do damage. So I'll see you guys back at the sub for the next prep mission. Alright, and we're back on the sub. The submarine jammer is done, and that's 20% of the prep work right there in only a couple minutes. So, next up, I'm going to go for the weapon loadout. You can do these missions in any order you would like, but I just do them in this one. So, Saboteur is the loadout I normally go for. There might be a better one here. Some of them will be locked to you if you don't have the appropriate thing. There are two types of missions here. If it gives you the one where it tells you to go to the Merryweather thing, you can do that if you want, but it normally takes longer because you have to tail a helicopter for a bit. I prefer it when it's like this, but I'm normally not too picky. I'll just do whichever one it gives me because it's not worth it in my mind to restart the session and so on and so forth. Speaking of which, all this prep work can be done in an invite-only session as well as launching the mission, so you never have to interact with the lovely community that Rockstar has fostered. So we're in luck here. This building I can actually land my chopper on pretty easily. There are two different office buildings it will give you, and I think this one's the good one. So yeah, this one's pretty straightforward. Where is the entrance here? There it is. Is that them? Interesting. I wonder why I'm locked onto that chopper. I wonder if that's one of the Merryweather choppers that's just idling now from last mission. Anyways, they kind of make it hard for you to land here, but you should be able to land like this pretty easy. Let's go get that lovely assault shotgun out. Let's get moving. So this mission can be done semi-stealthily if you take out the guards without them seeing you. They won't raise the alarm if their friends are shot in their face. So like that guy died making noise, died making noise. I like to make it a challenge to try and do it quietly, but you don't have to. You can just do this part loud, it's just a little more annoying. This is the part here that gets kind of annoying, so I'm gonna see if I can switch to my rifle maybe and do it faster. Yeah, look at that. There you go, the alarm was never raised. I wonder if that'll mean that we won't get people. Alright. For those of you that have epilepsy, this next screen is going to be a little bit bad for you. You might want to just avert your eyes. For those of you that know sightseer puzzles, you'll know this thing, of course. It's fun. Alright, 6608, where art thou? There it is. Yep.
Did it work? Is the locker open?
So, I'm wondering now if, because we did this quietly, if we're not going to get helicopters chasing us, but if we are, we are. It's not the end of the world. We have a faster helicopter, but less durable.
They will be right behind you.
Sounds like it.
Captain, I have heard we are not the first to rob Mr. Rubio. Those who attempted last time... They used their own weapons. 6 months later, Mr. Rubio's wolves had tracked them down, and they were shipped to the Panther's cage in very small boxes.
Whoa.
This is a mistake we will not be making.
Goodness, this thing's out of control. On the plus side, no attack choppers. So if you do that section silently like I just did, you won't have helicopters spawning in on you. Which is pretty cool. I'm glad that they give you an option to stealth it. Yeah, alright, onward to the next prep, I guess. So one of the reasons that I say that you should try and get the helicopter is because you can immediately dock it into and out of the submarine. Like, you don't have to stop, get out, go through doors. You can just come over to this section of the thing, press E when the prompt shows up, and boom, you're in the submarine. Likewise, you just walk there, get in, press W, or whatever the key binding for you is, and you're good. It's pretty nice. Alright, and we're in. Let's go do the next heist prep work. We are already doing pretty good. Ah yes, the bills. The bills are pouring in. Pavel is probably down in the mess hall eating chowder because I told him to go do that so I could go talk without him talking over me, which is annoying. Alright, next up we have 3 equipments. Do not get demolition charges. The cutting torch that we're about to get is going to do that for us and better. I'll explain when Pavel is done jabbering on our ears over the radio. So, helicopter, and let's go. Pavel, go ahead.
Okay. To get through the drainage tunnel, we will need to cut the grate. To get through it underwater, we will need correct type of cutting torch. These we should be able to find easily at construction site. Although, less easy will be the armed guards. Apparently, industrial equipment goes missing very often in Los Santos.
Alright, so the construction site thing. The reason you want to do the underwater escape is because it lets you go right into the compound, silent and sneaky-like. And also, you can use this welding torch that we're about to appropriate here to quietly open the secondary things. Oh wait, it's this one. Yeah. Thank goodness we took the helicopter, we can go straight up.
In these places, no one asks questions. The torch will not just be lying around, you will need to search toolboxes and so on.
On the off chance you get this construction site like we did, it's all the way at the top. There's some elevators you can take, but if you have a helicopter like I do, you can also just go straight to the top of the building. Set it down around over here. And in the case of this building, the hard hat will be right over there. It likes to give you a thingy here where it won't let you put it on until that thing bips away, so you get to go run around in circles for a bit while it does that. Alright, should be good now. Yep. Alright. Equipping the hard hat isn't necessary, but it does make your life easier, like many other things in this game, where like keeping with stealth or disguises or what have you. Locating the thing itself is just a matter of running around here. Don't stick around in the guards' visions for too long. This is not necessarily a hard prep if you know where the hat is. Some of them can be in kind of tricky places. I'm not going to go through every single one of them, trying to find every single place that they can be. Just run around. Hard hats are harder to find, but the boxes have green arrows above them. Is this it? I don't know. It won't let me climb over this. There it is. Alright. I think if you grab it while you're in the enemy field of view, they will notice and try and shoot at you, but...
Did you find it yet? Bring it to me and I will keep it safe.
Okay. And with that, we just gotta head back to the helicopter, and our prep work will be down to the last 2 missions, I believe. Be right back. Alright, and we're back on the sub. Let's go ahead and take a look at the final 2 prep missions we need to do. So, we need a plasma cutter and the fingerprint cloner. We'll do the plasma cutter. Once again, as I go into the helicopter, Pavel is going to be jabbering on in our ears. After he's done with that, I'll go talk a bit about some of the practicalities for doing this prep work. It's pretty straightforward, but it can be annoying if you're not prepared. Pavel, do your thing.
We leave behind a single piece of the jigsaw. Mr. Rubio will finish it. If we are going to get into Mr. Rubio's bulletproof display case without breaking what's inside, we will need very specialized tools. Plasma cutter. But tools such as this is very easy to trace, and this is very bad for us, so we borrow it from someone. A gang who was planning the robbery of their own. I have been given tip of their safe house. That is where we start.
Alright, so the first section here is very straightforward. You literally don't even need a weapon to do this. Go to the safe house, take a picture of the thingy. Thingy is over there, if I recall correctly, yeah. If you have the Oppressor Mark II, it's also very good for navigating around here. Pavel. But, Sparrow, faster. Goes into sub.
More importantly, to see the vast amounts of money waiting at the top, huh? Okay, you are in location, but not
Just gotta take a picture.
Nobody home? Perhaps they have started the job sooner than anticipated. Look around. There must be some plan, some document that will give clue to where they are. Something I need is a photograph. Perfect. Now give me a moment. Aha, there you are. I will send you new location now.
The Oppressor Mark II can also be really helpful in this position because of its missile capacity. Or not missile capacity, its missile capabilities, but the helicopter can do it also. It's just a bit harder to maneuver. Either way, you can do this part with a rifle. Just be very careful not to take too much damage. The enemies here have serious aimbot and weapon damage. So in this case, we're going to swing wide a little bit here. Get ourselves a good angle onto that mess over there. And bombs away. Or rockets or whatever. Oh. Hey, they shot me. That's fine. Yoink.
This time there was shooting, yes, but this is good news. Means you have the gunner. Now just get it back here in one piece.
Ow.
Don't even try. I'm gonna shoot you.
Sparrow can't take as much damage as like the Buzzard can, but she's faster and she gets infinite missiles that fire as fast as the Oppressor Mark II, so she can literally just do this. She can do that all day. Yeah, she's good. She's really good. Hence why I recommend you do buy her as soon as you have the money to go along with this thing, because that makes some of the prep work a lot easier. Also, just because you can directly enter and exit the vehicle with it. I'm sure with the Dorito, or however you call it, the new Stromberg, you could also accomplish this, but that's harder to control on PC. Anyways, we're going to move directly on, in the same cut, to the next and final, for us, prep work that we will need to do. So, let's go use the planning screen one more time for this. Last piece of equipment is the Fingerprint Cloner. This puzzle is fun. And I will explain why this bit is kind of ridiculous, because it's a typical Rockstar mission where they want you to not do one thing at one point and then do it in another point.
If you are a pattern for the world, there will be nothing you can't do.
Alright, but first, Pavel needs to do his mandatory speech, so Pavel, take her away.
The fingerprint scanner in Mr. Rubio's office is very latest design. Normal hacking tools will be detected immediately and the whole place will be sealed. Our only chance is to acquire Mr. Rubio's fail-safe device, which can reconstruct his fingerprint in case of emergency. This and only this will allow us to hack the system. And to get it, we will need to find the mainland archives of his head of cybersecurity. Start by going to the GPS coordinates I have sent you.
Alright. So, this bit here is kind of annoying. Pavel's gonna explain it, and then I shall explain it afterwards.
The archives are relocated every few weeks. If we want to find out where they are, we need to get into the computer system in this warehouse. It will be highly secure. Perhaps you can avoid cameras or destroy them, or make it easy and kill the power. There has to be a circuit box not too far from here. This place will be guarded. If you do not let the cameras see you, you will have the element of surprise.
Okay. So, these cameras, if you shoot them or try and destroy them, they will trigger the guards. So, you need to use the box or find a way to avoid them, which I don't think is possible for their field of view. Alright. It's the difference between the guards being triggered or not, but I try not to, because then it allows you to, like, sneak up over here without getting shot a billion times.
If you do, you will find that websites being critical of him and their servers mysteriously targeted for attack. Cybersecurity is not all about defense, yes?
Alright, and now we get to do the Sightseer hack.
We will hack it and locate the archives. This man's security is in serious need of updates.
And
This would never happen at Russian government troll farms. Good job. We have the location of the archive. Now let's go.
So now, we get to do a fun thing here. which is where, you know that knowledge we just had where, hey, you cannot destroy cameras, otherwise it will trigger guards? Yeah, you're meant to destroy cameras at this next part. There's one point where you can actually avoid the cameras entirely, but for the most part I was just continuously triggering the cameras because Rockstar showed that you weren't supposed to do that, and then they want you to do it here. Bad game design, in other words. It looks like this is the part where you can actually just avoid the cameras, though, which is nice. Hard to say, actually. Maybe not this one. Yeah, no, never mind. That's a different one I'm thinking about. Yeah, bad game design aside, this part's fun.
There will be CCTV here as well.
So just shoot the cameras here, and down they go. Alright. This segment over here, we're just searching for a thingy.
Now, do not get distracted in there. The fail-safe tool will be the size of a credit card. Probably it will have an antenna.
Must have passed it. There it is. It's a bit hard to see sometimes.
Do you have the device? Get it out of there, quickly.
Right, but lucky us, we didn't trigger the alarm there. So yeah, I'm sure viewers, if you're watching the video count, this has been maybe 30 or so, maybe 40 minutes worth of actual stuff. Like I said, the heist can be done in about an hour, start to finish, from the first scope out to the final take. So it's very easy to grind if you have the equipment that I've been using here, which sometimes it's been kind of excessive. Thermal scope sniper, I didn't need to use that. Really, just if you have this thing with missiles and a good AR and a good shotgun, like the assault shotgun, you're probably in a good spot. But you can even make do with less if you know what you're doing. So, alright, let's head back to the sub with this lovely piece of equipment here, and then we can start the heist. See you guys there. Alright, we have made it to the end of the heist prep work. We are now ready for the finale. So, hard mode gives us that extra 10%, which is good. Alright, and I'll be playing this one on my own, obviously. There will be no cuts for this section here, because I'm sure several people want to see all of it. So, approach vehicle, submarine. Infiltration point, drainage tunnel. Compound entry, drainage tunnel. Escape point, I select the submarine, but you can choose however one you want. Time of day, I set to nighttime. Guards have a harder time seeing you, but you have a harder time seeing them. Weapon loadout, you get the suppressors for free if you do it at night. No need to spend $5,000 on them. Alright, let's do this. My character's blinking. So I'm thinking I will go up to El Rubio's office just to get the painting as well as the golden gun and the safe contents, also to show that off.
GPS locked. I have your position. I will also access compound CCTV to see you when you are there.
Give me a second. I'm actually going one-handed here with my phone to go pull up a thing I wanted to check out.
Jealous of you out there in the field once again, but then I think of the drainage pipe you're about to swim through, and I am not so jealous. The entrance is right up ahead.
Up against the wall over there. Okay. So there's a shotgun here that I haven't got yet that I'm going to try and get on this attempt, which might hurt my time for a bit, but that's fine. I don't need it.
The maintenance room is not far.
Alright, so this bit over here, those of us that have played story mode will recognize this, and it's pretty straightforward to do. Just hold the torch on it for a second and you're good. You could also just hold down the thing. It doesn't make a difference, as it turns out. In story mode, it actually had a fuel, so you wanted to use it sparingly. With this, you could totally just do it like this, 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 that.
Perfect.
And let's go.
As we say in Navy, you want the element of surprise? Choose least hygienic option. Now, enjoy your little swim, yes?
Alright, and let's enter the compound. So I have a system for taking out the guards looking for gate keys, but because I'm going to the office, I don't need to worry about that so much, but I will be taking out some guards along the way. And if I find the gate keys, it might be easier. Alright, first things first. We're running over this way.
Well, judging from the lack of terrified screams, I will assume you made it through the uncharted tunnel and into the den of strung-out militiamen. Good. Things are going according to plan, huh? Now, let's see what he has for us in the vault this time.
Alright, so I melee this guy in the back of the head, otherwise the Juggernaut is notified. Then I shoot the Juggernaut, usually.
They patrol this area. They all know every soldier on the island. Them you cannot fool, no matter what you are wearing.
Alright, sometimes the shotgun spawns here. It doesn't look like it did this time, which is unfortunate.
Bad news, Capitan. If you wish to open double keycard system, only way is with 2 people. We have its location locked. A good reason to come back.
Sometimes that guy has the key card, other times it's this guy. In this case, it's this guy. So we'll go up to Mr. Rubio's office the long way. If you go under here, if there isn't paintings in Rubio's office and you don't care too much about the safe and the golden gun take, you can just go in through here, and there's 2 less hacks on this door.
What is your position? On this schematic, you are walking through walls now.
Alright, let's open this thing up. Alright, so this hack over here looks complicated. It is not.
Okay,
So, the Pav will be quiet.
fragments and match them up to the target print.
So, the fingerprint sections that they give you are in order. This is this end of it, that's that end of it. So if you just cycle through to what the last one was, then you go one step further, you can solve it pretty easily. And half the time it solves for you at the bottom as you do the top, because it cycles around for stuff you haven't touched. So, yeah. That looked pretty random, I'm sure, but that was a very deliberate method of just quickly solving through it.
Did it work? We must be close now.
Let's go get this thing, open it up. I'm gonna have to do a whole bunch more of those hacks, but I'll do it. I might not get the Elite Challenge, but that's fine. I want to show you all that.
The glass case, bulletproof, shatterproof. You will need the plasma cutter, and you will need to be very careful.
Aiden's telling me about his D&D session. That's hysterical. But I'm trying to record a video, Aiden. Oh well. Alright, there's the primary target.
I promise, I will not drink this when you get it back to the sub, unless you want to. In which case, I will bring the caviar. Bad news. They have sealed the drainage pipe. You will need to look for another way out of there.
Yeah, 4 fingerprints over here. Oof, this is gonna kill my time, but that's fine. Normally I would not bother, especially with the takes that we have already.
Just arrived. Be
But,
careful.
yeah, see, sometimes I mess it up a little bit.
On the way out, do not be shy. Help yourself.
I'm sure someone is looking at this right now and being like, holy smokes, that guy's a madman. How is he doing it so fast? And really, it just boils down to learning how the pattern works. And just making sure the one above it and below it aren't the same, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Alright, and let's get going. So the office has this lovely painting over here for me today. Although I don't know how much money this is going to give me, so I'm going to look at the take. I've heard that paintings can be either really good or really bad, depending on how you get them. I think cocaine is typically better than them, but they might be 3rd or 4th place, depending on if weed. Okay, that one was only worth 184,000. Yeah. So there is a key card up here, if you're only getting one. You can use a key that you can get from a sleeping guard in Los Santos free play to get the golden gun. That gives you a bit more of your take. Never mind, it does not.
CCTV image is a little blurry. Was that a gun made of gold? It would be rude not to check the safe, I think.
And then you got the safe. At this point... Almost used the non-silence gun, that would have been terrible. this point, we can head down and head on out. Right, we'll wait for this guard here. Get him. We can just straight up unlock this section here. And let's go. I would have liked to have gotten the shotgun. I'll have to get it another day when I actually don't care too much about making a video. It's somewhere in the compound. I haven't found it yet. I had pulled up a map that had possible locations, but it didn't spawn at the ones I could check on my route. Of course, we get the lovely interlude of, hey, I don't remember how a door works. And let's go.
Perfect. We are out of the compound, and judging by their radio chatter, they have no idea they've been hit. Now get off that island.
So the trick for this is shoot that guy, grab the bike, watch out for the truck, and use it to get us into the water as fast as we can. And I was able to immediately transition to swimming. That was nice. So because we did the sub-entry, we never changed out of our scuba into guard outfits, we can now swim through here. And we can swim all the way to the, to the exit of the map if we wanted to. There are some boats at the top, but I don't usually bother with that.
This time I think you may have broken him.
Normally I don't bother with that, because normally I don't even bother going to Rubio's office, especially on hard mode when it's locked by 4 hacks, but I wanted to show it off for you guys here. It's a bit of extra money, but it might have cost me the Elite Challenge, I don't know. Then again, maybe not, because I won't have to bother with the warehouse forklift puzzle, although I will show that off just for those of you that were wondering how you even got that loot. It's not hard. Yeah. Yeah, so if you just grab the primary take, grab whatever is over here at the airstrip, fill up your bag, prioritize the higher value loot if you have the time for it. Like if you get 2 grabs of cocaine, that's good.
But there is something out there. Long-range scanners are picking up something.
Come on, Pavel, finish up.
On the surface, from movement patterns, I would say it is... Never mind. It is an old friend of mine.
Alright, now that Pavel's done. I don't know what that line of dialogue is about. So, like, if you just grab the best secondary takes you can along the way, I'm sure you could probably get something from the main dock or the side dock over there or what have you. You don't have to go all the way to the airstrip. I just choose to because it's typically easiest to scout out, and it doesn't kill my Elite Challenge time. There are probably methods I could do to improve this. Feel free to let me know what your preferred method is. And for those of you that, don't have a preferred method, feel free to use this. It's pretty good. It takes a bit of time and patience and learning where things spawn and what they do and how to do it best, but you can grind out some serious money this way. So yeah, let's just finish up real quick by going to the airport, showing off the trick with the forklift, and then we'll hit the sub and be good. So yeah, this is the equivalent of the Diamond Casino on Silent and Sneaky, but we can just do it again and again and again. We can do it solo. We never have to change our approach. We can do this exact same thing over and over. Secondary takes change, primary take switches around, but yeah, it's pretty darn good. Now if I wanted to be sneaky here, I could even disable the cameras over at this thingy by pulling 2 switches, but I don't want to do that. Make sure I got the suppressed pistol. Alright, now normally I would shoot out those guys and take out that, but I don't even bother with that. I'm just going to headshot that guy, because the weed that we want to get from that thing is in there, and it will save us some time not having to go to the other place to get cash. Alright, so first things first, the warehouse puzzle, the forklift puzzle. The forklift is over here, of course. Just hop on in. The jump and crouch keys raise and lower the forklift portion itself, so go ahead and lower that down to the ground. Scoop up this pallet over here, raise it all the way up, bring it to about over here or so, and then you can climb on up into that cage over there. I'm not going to bother with that because there's some good looking weed over here, and I'm just going to take that. So let's grab. Weed might be surprisingly good. I don't know for sure exactly how good or bad it is compared to other takes. I've been reading a lot on it, trying to figure out what it is compared to others. Gold is obviously the best, but coke is probably better than weed.
Perhaps too much.
And now let's just get out of Dodge. Don't even bother stealing a vehicle, especially because, you know, this is Cayo Perico. You cannot drive a vehicle in the wilderness, even a bike, for long without crashing into something. And yeah, let's hit the road, or in this case, the ocean. Now there are boats here. I could probably SNG the guy out and, like, take the boat. That didn't even raise the alarm is the funny bit. Because he's not actually a guard, he's just a civilian with a boat patrolling for some reason. I don't know why they did it like that, but they did. But worst comes to worst, if you don't get a boat, you can totally just take your scuba suit and point yourself in the direction and hold down the sprint key and you're good. Plus occasional course correction as your body does continue to raise itself up and you want to keep it down. So yeah, this was the Cayo Perico Heist on hard in about an hour or so worth of time. I could cut down corners here, but I wanted to show you guys some stuff that wasn't necessary for me to do. The take right now is pretty low, all things considered, but it's actually not too bad solo. Like, I got the worst possible primary target, and I didn't find any cocaine over here, so my secondary target wasn't too great either. But even so, that's all me. That money, minus the fencing fees and Pavel's fee, that's all going to me. Pretty dang good for an hour's job work. It definitely beats out most other money-making methods beyond pure out hacking. Anyways, I guess we'll go watch the final cutscene and then we'll call the episode. Alright, let's see what we got. I think I did that in 15 minutes, I'm not sure. Yeah, the potential take is a lie. That's for everything on the island. You can't take that all. Oh wow, that was in under 15. Nice. So here's all the requirements. It's not too hard. And that gives you an extra... Was that 100k or 50k? I've already lost track. Doesn't matter. Point is, this was pretty much the lowest possible take we could have gotten, short of just only cash for, like, secondary targets that we could find. I could have probably found cocaine somewhere else on the island, but it wasn't worth the extra time for an extra 100 grand. At that point, you're wasting more time than just doing it again. Alright, anyways, this has been a Grand Theft Auto 5-ish, tutorial-ish episode. Hope you all enjoyed. I'll catch you guys again in the next one. Until then, take it easy.